launched a new offer 4 weeks ago, and I've made 14K cash collected so far. So that's like the biggest summary I can give you. I've always been super passionate about personal development and like high performance. So when I first launched my coaching business, which was exactly like a year ago, I was only doing like personal development, but I didn't have like a very, very clear offer. I think that was like a big thing that was holding me back. So then, joined CB just to share it with you. Like I was already like in above $40,000 in debt. And I was like, what's an extra X amount if I know this is going to be the one that's finally going to make things work, right? And I wasn't wrong. So
incredible. So you had your back up against a wall when you joined our program, and it was like it really was like a last ditch thing for you then.
Yeah, 100%.
So in today's interview, I am speaking with Eduardo, who joined our community about 3 or 4 months ago, and he'd been through some other programs and he'd learned some little things here and there, but he just felt like something was missing. And he joined our community with his eyes wide open, didn't really know exactly what he was here for, just had a general idea of just proximity to people that have done it. That's all he knew. And he went from less than $1,000 a month in total sales to having a nearly $10,000 single week, and things are continuing to grow for him. He's based out of Mexico City, and he is a health and high performance coach. So this is going to be a really interesting interview for those of you who are either in that niche or you're kind of in that place of trying to figure out, what, these next steps might look like. Maybe you've been through some programs, you've gotten a few sales, you just can't get it off the ground. It's going to be a very powerful interview for you to get things to that next level, especially if you've gotten proof of concept, you've gotten a single sale. So hopefully you can enjoy and appreciate Eduardo's journey and his story. Before we get into the video, there's 2 resources I want to recommend to you. First is our free training. No email opt-in, no phone number. We're not going to spam you or anything. It's literally just, the really boiled down version of how we get results for our students and how you can start your own online coaching business in any niche, any industry based around your passions and the things that you are excited about, right? And another resource is you can just book a call directly with myself and my team using one of the links in the description. It's completely free, 45-minute breakdown of what our programs could do for you and how we could serve you and how we can get you to that next level in your business. And I'll be honest, people who take us up on our offers, we cut the learning curve by like 1.5 years, 2, sometimes 3 years. And I think our average student makes $71,000 inside of our program, which is pretty awesome to me. We've had 400 students, $71,000 total average if you average it out, which I think is just amazing. So forget the price, forget what we cost. Just ask yourself, are you willing to make a massive commitment to making real change and committing to a proven process for a few months or even a few years? If you are, then see if you are a good fit for us, see if we'll let you in. Obviously, we've got a high standard for our community and everything. But anyway, hopefully you enjoy this interview with Eduardo. Watch it in full if you are, wanting to get the full value out of observing this transformation, which I recommend. Thanks again, Eduardo, for your time, and enjoy the interview.
All right, Eduardo, welcome to the channel, brother.
Thanks, man. Super excited to be here.
Absolutely. And I hope this wasn't private information, but you told me you had it on your vision board to be an interview for the channel. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. Literally like 2 months ago when I launched my new offer, I wrote it down like, I want to be having an interview with Trey, and here we are.
That's so freaking cool, dude. So tell people what you've achieved as a byproduct of joining our community and kind of what the journey's been like.
Yeah, just as a quick summary. So I launched a new offer 4 weeks ago, and I've made 14K cash collected so far. So that's like the biggest summary I can give you.
It's amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's super cool, dude. And when you say cash collected, you mean payments in, and then there's like what split pays? What's the total split pay rate? So 14K cash, how much split?
So yeah, only 5K of that was split into 2 payments, and the rest of it was paid in fulls.
Nice. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay, dude. So let's dig into that. It's a lot to unpack. Help us understand what you sell, how you sell it, who you serve, and then like kind of maybe we'll dive into what you've learned from CB.
Yeah, of course. So I've always been super passionate about personal development and like high performance. So when I first launched my coaching business, which was exactly like a year ago, I joined CB like 5 months after that. I was only doing like personal development, but I didn't have like a very, very clear offer. I think that was like a big thing that was holding me back. So then, joined CB I've been part of a lot of other programs, but I think like CB was like the last piece that I needed to just like get things going. Mainly, honestly, I knew that specifically from following you and Jeremy, like I could relate myself so much to both of you specifically. I just knew that it was just like the right decision. I mean, just to share it with you, like I was already like in above $40,000 in debt, and I was like, what's an extra X amount if I know this is going to be the one that's finally going to make things work, right? And I wasn't wrong. So
that's amazing. So you had your back up against the wall then. I didn't even know that about your story. I mean, that's one of the interesting things is as I've built a bigger team and everything, like I feel like I just kind of miss knowing these little things. That's incredible. So you had your back up against the wall when you joined our program, and it was like it really was like a last ditch thing for you then. Wow. I didn't know that. Tell me more about your decision process. Like why were you like, all right, these are the guys I want to do this, but like was it us or was it the state of mind you were in, or like what made you to make the decision? You're just like, my back's up against the wall. I got to make this work. If like, you know, that
no, honestly, I mean, being completely honest with you. So one of the main reasons why I got myself into such a huge debt, like I always knew that the only, like, I know that there are no shortcuts in life except for having a mentor that knows or is already where you want to be and just shows you how to get there. Right. So I knew that since I started my entrepreneurial journey, like 3 years ago. I invested in a lot of different programs and coaches. I learned a lot, like some of them were really, really good. But like I was still missing something. And I started following you, I don't remember, I think like 6 months before I joined, and also Jeremy. And it was a moment in my life where I was honestly feeling like so misunderstood. And I just felt so related to you and Jeremy. And after seeing what you were doing for the community, but most of it, the thing that I wanted was like, I was like, I want to be close to people who are similar to me, the way that they think, the impact that they want to have on people. Because I had like big goals when it comes to like financial goals, but also it really matters to me to have a good impact in the people that I serve. And I felt that coming from you. So I was like, these are the guys that I want to work with.
I love that, dude.
So yeah, I mean, I was already like those 40,000 in debt. Above that, I was like, I mean, if I'm already here, like already
rub some more dirt on the existing dirt.
Yeah, I mean, what I know, and I kind of knew this was like the good one. I don't know, like, or the last piece that I needed. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the reason why. Basically because of you and Jeremy, and also because I saw the results from the community, and I wanted to surround myself with them. But just because I could relate myself to you and Jeremy a lot.
That's very cool, dude. I love that. Was it Jeremy who initially enrolled you when you booked your initial consult?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. That's super sick. I love it, dude. Well, dude, help me understand then kind of what you learned. You know, like I know you said you had a lot of other pieces. Like, what did we give you specific? Because sometimes, you know, when I interview a student, it's like, you know, they were literal zero, never run a business before. We gave them everything. Other times it's like we filled a missing piece. So help me understand like what exactly you took away from our community that led to, you know, what you've achieved now.
So I think it's mainly two things, because number one is one of the biggest ones is like the understanding that business is an iterative process. Like that's one of the biggest concepts for me when it came to like when you're starting from scratch. Because throughout this whole journey of 3 years of me investing to this like I learned a lot, but number one, my execution level was like way behind my knowledge. So a big thing about the community was like the accountability and seeing everyone like just crushing. And I was like, I want to be part of that. So number one was like the accountability, but then number two is this concept of like this like business being an iterative process, right? Because
when you say you mean iterative?
Iterative, sorry,
Iterative. Yeah, I'm just making sure the audience can understand. I think I knew what you meant, but I'm just making sure.
I mean, my original, I'm from Mexico. My original language is Spanish, so sometimes just try to translate those things. But happy that you caught
which
that.
Makes it perfect because we're gonna be meeting you in Cancun for our team retreat soon. So
so excited, man. But so exactly. So understanding that business is a process like that, because what happened with me was that in some of the first programs that I joined, they shared a lot of stuff about like marketing and sales, which was really, really good, but they never mentioned anything about offer building, right? And I don't know, it's just like really, it's against my nature. I just can't sell something to someone if I don't know that I'm giving them more in return than what I'm getting.
Yes,
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Like, so, I mean, I learned those strategies and I was like, okay, I'm just going to use them. They were like, just go out there and market and sell. And I did that and I got my first clients, but then I was like, okay, now what? Right?
Now what?
Like they gave me money, hard-earned money, and like I need to give them something in return, right? So obviously, like I mean, I made sure and I made a big effort to just create a good offer and serve them at my highest possible level. But I realized that before I kept selling more, I just needed to have more clarity on my offer. And then what happened is, so I lost confidence in when it came to selling. And I was like, until I don't have the perfect offer, I'm not going to sell again. Right. So I started spending a lot of time trying to build the best offer. But in the end, and that's like where this concept was like, that's what opened everything up for me, right? The understanding that you just need like a minimum viable offer, because in the end, you need real data, right? You cannot build something from scratch without having real data from what the market really needs. So trying to build the perfect offer without going out, getting on the phone and collecting real data, not going to get you anywhere, as well as trying to go out without having at least a knowledge of like, what is the timeline that you're going to get people through. So understanding that process, that is not like you just build your offer once and you go out and you become a million. No, like you build the minimum
you rebuild
thing.
it. Yeah, you build it. Yeah, we're probably on offer 18. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah. So you actually went out and you talked to the market. You got on the phone, asked questions, and gathered all that data and everything.
Yeah, and then I came back, used that data, restructured my whole offer, launched it 4 weeks ago, and 14K in less than 4 weeks. So
amazing. Isn't that cool how that works? Yeah, it's funny. People will
Crazy.
skip that step of like really observing their market, you know, and when you take the time to really dig into like, what are your desires, what are your pains, what's stopping you from getting there on your own? Like, have you invested into somebody before? How did that go? Like, what'd you learn? What'd you not learn? Getting all that data about your market, dude, it's a powerful force for sure.
100%.
Yeah, dude, the amount of confidence that you approach the marketplace with after you've done that research as well is huge for me personally.
Huge.
It's just
Like
I know I can help you. Like just that pure internal sense of like, yeah, I know for a fact that I can help you. And you saying no on this call is only hurting you. Like literally just being able to look him in the face and be like, dude, you're literally making such a dumb decision by not doing this. Like you have to do this. Game changer.
Game changer, man. Yeah, same thing for me. Like I hear my recordings from my calls back in February, and I hear the ones now, like even the way that I feel, it's so easy. Like, because I know, like, I just know the value that is behind, and just the way, just so much more confident. So yeah, it's a big thing that I think a lot of people miss. So yeah, that was a huge one for me. Like that piece was like the thing that was like, okay, like I gave myself permission to go out, start getting that data, and at the same time improving my offer, which was really good.
Very good. It's very good, dude. That offer creation stuff is huge for a lot of our students. They overlook it all the time. Like for existing students in CB that are watching this, like it's it does so much heavy lifting when you just build an offer based on market data. Okay, so that was one thing you took away, was like actually doing some market research like an actual company would, which is funny. Like so many people like skip over that. What else? What else would you say has contributed to this transformation you've seen?
Yeah, well, not like the community also 100%. I started, just like getting together with a lot of the people inside the community that were like in a very similar spot as me. Just holding each other accountable was a big thing. And the other one, which was huge, just the mindset, man. Like the mindset was huge.
In what ways? What do you mean mindset? Like people say mindset, I'm like, what do you mean? Because like it's data for me, and also people hear mindset and they're like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean by that specifically?
Yeah. So number one, like limiting beliefs. Also reading Psycho-Cybernetics recommended by you and the team. That was a huge one. Understanding like how our minds work, and using that to my favor. And it's funny because now that I think, because I had like last week was like a 10K week. And when I first started this journey, I was like, dude, if I make 10K in a month, it's gonna be insane. And I made 10K. I made 10K in a week, and it was funny because obviously I was super excited and grateful, and like from one side I couldn't believe it, but on the other side I was like, it was normal, it was natural, and really trying to be like, I'm not being like cocky or something. Like it was really humble, and I think it's just because I adopted this identity of like and understanding how the mindset works, so just removing those limiting beliefs and just focusing on like the consistency and the actions. Like that was like also I think the thing that was holding me back a lot. So removing the limiting beliefs, changing the identity of who I was, just operating as a 100K a month Eduardo version instead of like the guy who wanted to make 10K in a month. And it just happened. Like, I know it sounds crazy for some people. It sounded crazy for me in the beginning, but I just started doing it. I read the book. I visualized
like
myself every day.
I saw it drawn like this. It's like you've got an inner circle, a mid circle, and a larger circle. And like a lot of people try and change their identity by changing their actions, but really or they look at their results. It really, everything starts with identity and it expands out from there. It's like identity leads to actions, leads to your results. It's just You know,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
people don't take the time to discuss those things because a lot of the time, like somebody will join a community like ours, and then like it's sad because like the program can actually have really good content, but they don't get out of the way what I think is probably the first most important thing, which is like who the person thinks they are and like what they think they're here to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you can establish that, then, and I think it's something too for your clients as well. Like, working with high performance, like seriously, like
Yeah.
teaching
100%.
self-image stuff has been huge for us because it's like we have everything else. We have the marketing, sales offer, we have all these things, but then like the foundation is the person themselves. And so, yeah, man.
100%. So yeah, that's exactly like I understood, and I think that's where I can bring it home. So what I understood is like there there are some people that just set goals. Well, first of all, most people don't even have clear goal, right? But then you have some people, and that was me, who like I set myself a big goal, but I tried to go and achieve that goal being the same person that I was, and I mean the reason why I wasn't there is because it was a byproduct of who I was. So understanding that concept that if you change, like instead of trying to achieve the goal, staying who you are, you just become the person who would achieve that goal easily. So instead of saying like, I want to make $1 million, you just say like, I need to be someone who is disciplined, who develops focus, hard worker, like develop the skills of marketing, sales, offer creation. And the other thing just happens as a byproduct. So yeah, I just adopted those things, like got my routine in place, started operating like that. And it literally just happened. Like it wasn't like even hard. I don't know, it's crazy, but it works.
It is crazy how it works for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild ride, dude. Like feeling your life catch up to like thoughts you had about yourself a year ago and just feeling like, whoa, like it's all like falling into place. Okay, so offer, mindset, what else is there anything? I mean, I don't want to pry where there's nothing there, but like what else do you feel like you
Oh
took
yeah.
away, if anything?
I mean, those were the biggest things. But also, yeah, just like dude, the team and the community, just the quality of people inside is really, really big. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me. Just as I told you, when I first started my journey, at least in like my physical environment, there were not a lot of people, or no one is doing something similar as I'm doing. And I think no one understood, even like people from my family in the beginning, I couldn't explain them or get them to understand my vision. So just being in that environment, surrounded by people who are like in the same like place where you can be your truest self and reach your truest potential, like that was a big thing for me. And also the team, like I mean, Jeremy was the one that I knew before, but then after I got to meet Brandon and Matt, like, dude, it's crazy how much value they've added to everything that I've done. And it's like literally some of them 15-minute call and they're like, oh yeah, do this and this, and boom. Like I had one with Matt and he was like, dude, yeah, do this and this, and suddenly I was booking like literally 2 to 3 calls per day.
Yeah, dude, we've got some insane prospecting and sales people on the team for sure. Like they're nut jobs. Yeah, they're obsessed. It's pretty cool to see. Yeah, huge credit to them for sure. Like it's cool. I'm at a point now where like, I'm just realizing just how impactful the right people on the team is. And you're gonna get there at some point too where it's just like, just get the right people on board. Now that you got proof of concept, just get the right people on board. And like that's it. That's all that matters at that point. Okay, dude. Well, we've busted out a lot of information on this interview. So I guess maybe my question for you would be like, for the person who, maybe, because a lot of these interviews sometimes it's aimed at people who don't have a business yet. For you, you had something sort of going, but it was just missing a few pieces. Like for that person who has an offer or like is trying to get into the market and trying to sell something and like it's just not clicking, like what would your advice be to them? Like to that person, what would you say?
In like coming from you in relation to joining this program, because one of them would be just joining the program.
It's funny, dude. So I always ask this question, like, what's your advice? And everybody's like, yeah, just join the program. And I'm like, that's great. This is great advice. Don't get me wrong. I'm very biased and I agree that that's the right thing to give advice to. But I mean, I guess outside of that, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I want people to join our program. I want people to join CB because I think if they're not here, they're missing out 100%. But unfortunately, most people are going to be watching this and they're going to be like, oh, maybe it's not for me. Who knows why it's not? Who knows what reason they're coming up with? So for that person who just is like having a hard time getting their offer off the ground, what would you tell that person?
So something that worked for me and something that I've been seeing some people struggling with that I've shared them with them is just in the end, you have to remember, because I think that a lot of people, and this was me in the beginning, like I'm also a victim of this. Like when I first got interested in the entrepreneurial game and doing my own thing, I was like, oh yeah, I want to make a lot of money and travel and those things. But then like you have to remember that in the end, it's all about like relationships and also adding value. Like you're working with other human beings. So the moment that I understood that and changed my mindset, I was like, okay, how can I add 10 times more value than what I get from them in exchange of the money that they give me? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, my sales went up, not because I learned, I became the best salesman or I know how to handle objections, just because I built something that I know helps so much people. And I focused on selling became super easy and people started seeing that. So if someone is struggling, I I came up with a term, which is like lack of confidence in your offer syndrome, something like that. So if you're struggling with it, it's probably because you haven't put enough attention into like remembering it. Dude, like in the end, you're giving people value in exchange. So if you just focus on making sure that you're giving them a lot of value, the other things are going to take care by themselves.
Absolutely,
So I think that's a big
that's a
one.
brilliant piece of advice. It's a great piece of advice. It's a people business. It
Yeah.
is. Every business is a people business. There's nothing different about the internet. It's just a new form of reaching people.
Yeah.
And then yet people are, I love that advice, dude. It's like people are obsessed with building a lifestyle. They're obsessed with like buying nice things. No, dude, I love nice things. You know what I mean? But like never, ever, ever at the expense of the people that I do business with, team or students. Never. You know, it never comes first. They always come. They come miles first. And sometimes the perception on the front end might be like, and even for people that like promote their lifestyle on the front end, when you get to know them, it's just a show. Their heart is with their team and their clients every time. You know what I mean? But then they like have this lifestyle on the front end to make it look, you know, like they're selling you on this thing. But really, like they had it their way, they wouldn't leave their freaking apartment. They love what they do. You know what I mean? It's just I've seen that every single time. So yeah, dude, that's a great piece of advice. I love that. It's like it's a people business. Just obviously just make an offer that is worth more than the money that they're paying you, and give good refunds, give good experience, or give good guarantees, give a good experience. That's great. It's great advice. It's very simple.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
that
sometimes hard to
simple.
get that selfish desire out of the way. You know what I mean? Of just like I want this. Yeah.
It was hard for me. It took me like a year to understand that. Just want to be completely honest and transparent. Like I got into the game because of that. I mean, I learned a lot, but
I did too, man. I did too. I wanted like watches and cars that like I have those things, but now I've put them in their place. You know what I mean? Like my car isn't why I do this. It's just I don't give a rip about the freaking just a car. You know what I mean? It's just watch. It's just things. It's once you get about the people. Yeah, I love that. That's great advice.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that those things, because I mean, in the end, there's nothing wrong if you work hard and if you're providing value to people, but those things come when you shift your focus to really adding that value. And that was a big thing for me. Also, I'm not kidding. Like, honestly, I've never been really like this last 2 months specifically have probably been one of the happiest moments in my life. Like I jump out of the calls with my clients, dude, and I love so much what I do, really. Like that level of satisfaction. And like not also thinking, oh cool, I made 14K in 3 or 4 weeks, but really not kidding. Like every time that I have a call or like I really enjoy that. Like I really enjoy it. Like there's nothing in my life that makes me happier than being working here. So it's about that. And it was that mindset, that change in perception. And funny, like just funny how it takes care of the other things in case you're also like, interested in those things.
Yes, dude. It's like this in CB 2.0, we have this we teach this concept. I think I've brought up on calls before, but Ikigai. What you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you're good at. I freaking love this little visual, and I love that concept because it's just like once you reach that point of Ikigai, or however you say it, it's like now you've got just years ahead of you of work that you love that is profitable. It's just like why like screw the watches, bro. Like let's go take this as far as we can. Like vacations are great. Like I'm excited for the Cancun trip, but like I'm gonna be honest, I'm more excited for the Cancun trip because the team's gonna be out there. Like I can't wait. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you're gonna come out and we're gonna have some other students as well. Like we're gonna maybe do the private dinner thing, which I'll maybe keep you updated on. But dude, awesome. Phenomenal results, man. Super satisfied with what I'm seeing, and just keep going. Is there any key takeaway from your experience so far? Just being a student in CB that you would want to give on to the viewer? I know that's a very loaded question, very big question, but like, is there any key thing that you would want to kind of pass down?
Just I think we already covered a lot. But I think you can summarize everything in thinking long term. One of the things that I really like about what you do is always talking about your reputation. That's really important for me. And so just thinking long term, because I think, I mean, it was my case when I first started, just thinking, oh yeah, I want to jump in. Now I see some people jump in, they make like X amount of money in X amount of time. Now I but thinking that in the end, it's a long term game, right? So if you do find like your ikigai, right now I feel like I can do this just for the love of the game. Like really, I could go on and on and on. So just having that long term thinking, and yeah, just remembering that it's a people's like it's a people's game, right? It's humans interacting. So never losing that from your vision or from your perspective. And if you just focus on those things, I think you'll be good. Like,
good stuff, man. I think it's great takeaways. It's always cool to me. Just like I love seeing that, like the CB students become like little business philosophers. I'm like, yeah, like I love hearing shit like that out of the mouth of like the student. I'm like, yeah, like I love helping people wake up to like how it all really works. Cool, man. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the channel. Best of luck growing the business, and thanks again for your time.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your time and appreciate what you do, really.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate that.